Chosen ones, have you ever felt everything around you shift in a single night, as if life itself turned upside down without warning? Tonight holds that exact kind of energy. The signs are all here, and if you're sensing it, you already know change is close. Stay with me, what happens next will leave you speechless. There are moments in life when your heart suddenly feels lighter, almost as if a heavy curtain has been pulled away from your inner world. For the chosen ones, this clarity often arrives unannounced, catching you by surprise. You may wake up one morning and realize that the emotions that used to drag you down, fear, doubt, confusion, are simply no longer there. It's not because the problems disappeared overnight, but because your perspective shifted. Suddenly, you can see through the fog that has clouded your vision for weeks, months, or even years. This clarity is not just a fleeting mood, it's a deep spiritual signal. It's as if the universe or God is whispering, "Now you're ready to see the truth." When this happens, you begin to recognize what aligns with your soul and what doesn't. You notice which conversations drain your energy and which ones inspire you. You start to see people, situations, and even your own habits for what they truly are, either stepping stones on your path or obstacles disguised as comfort. That awareness changes everything, because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. For example, you may realize that someone you trusted has been quietly holding you back with negativity. Before, you might have brushed it off, convincing yourself it wasn't a big deal. But with this sudden clarity, it becomes obvious. Their energy doesn't belong in the future you're stepping into. Or perhaps you've been stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, questioning every decision. Tonight, something shifts. You feel a surge of confidence that tells you exactly what choice to make and why it's the right one. Think of this clarity as the clearing after a storm. When the sky opens, you can finally see the horizon, and with it, the direction you're meant to take. That doesn't mean the road will always be easy, but it does mean you'll move forward with purpose instead of stumbling in uncertainty. And here's the beautiful part: emotional clarity often brings peace. Even if your circumstances haven't changed yet, your heart feels steadier. You no longer react to chaos the same way, because your spirit has found its center. This clarity is one of the greatest gifts you can receive, because it's not something others can give you. It has to rise from within. It's proof that you're spiritually evolving, that you're no longer stuck at the level where confusion ruled your decisions. When you experience it, take note. Write down what comes to mind. Honor the insight you've been given, because it's getting you into the next stage of your life where every choice will carry more weight, more purpose, and more alignment with who you truly are. Chosen ones often notice their bodies speaking before their minds fully catch up. These symptoms can feel confusing at first: aches, tingles, restlessness, or bursts of energy that don't seem to make sense. But what if those sensations aren't random at all? What if they're signals that something within you is shifting on a deeper level? For many, it starts subtly. You may feel a tingling on your skin, almost like static electricity, especially when you're thinking about a major decision or standing in a place where spiritual energy feels strong. Some describe it as goosebumps without a cause, or a sudden warmth rushing through their chest. These are signs that your inner world is aligning with something higher, and your body is picking it up first. Sleep is another area where these signals show up. You might find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, restless but strangely alert, as if your spirit is trying to nudge you awake for an unseen reason. Vivid dreams and flashes of images often follow. While they may seem strange or even unsettling, they carry meaning, symbols that your subconscious is trying to bring forward for you to notice. Then there's the sudden fatigue that feels like it comes out of nowhere. One moment you're fine, and the next, your body insists you rest. This isn't weakness, it's recalibration. Imagine your system upgrading its software. It takes energy to adjust to the new frequency. And when that adjustment is complete, you may notice the opposite: bursts of motivation and inspiration that seem to appear out of thin air. This cycle of exhaustion and energy is part of the spiritual transformation process. Some symptoms can be even more physical: headaches, body aches, or pressure in certain areas like the chest or forehead. These are often connected to energy centers in the body, sometimes called chakras. A throbbing in the head might come just as you're gaining new insight. Tightness in the chest may lift after you release old emotions. The key is not to panic, but to pay attention. Your body is an antenna, tuned to receive signals not just from the physical world, but from the spiritual one too. Ignoring these symptoms can leave you frustrated, but listening to them turns them into valuable guidance. If you feel heavy, it may mean you're carrying something that needs to be released. If you feel light and energized, it's often confirmation that you're in alignment. Instead of dismissing these sensations, honor them. Keep track of when they occur and what's happening in your life at the time. Over time, you'll see patterns, clues that your body has been giving you all along. For the chosen ones, these strange symptoms aren't a sign of weakness. They're proof that you're evolving into the version of yourself that your destiny requires. One of the most shocking shifts that chosen ones experience is the sudden loss of certain people from their lives. These separations often feel abrupt and painful at first, but they carry a deeper purpose. Sometimes, the very connections you thought were safe and dependable are the ones silently holding you back. When destiny is ready to move you forward, it will not hesitate to remove what no longer belongs. This separation can show up in many ways. You may notice that a friend you used to talk to daily suddenly grows distant. Calls go unanswered, messages lose their warmth, or misunderstandings start to build out of nowhere. At first, it feels personal, but in truth, it's often protection. The universe knows what you don't, that certain energies cannot travel with you into the next chapter of your life. Toxic ties are not always obvious villains. Sometimes they are people you genuinely love, family members, close friends, or even partners whose words or actions drain your spirit instead of feeding it. Their constant doubt, subtle criticism, or hidden jealousy becomes a chain around your progress. And because you're chosen, that weight becomes unbearable once your soul begins to rise. Think of it like a hot air balloon trying to lift off. It doesn't matter how beautiful the balloon looks if heavy sandbags keep it grounded. Those sandbags are the toxic ties in your life. And when it's your time to ascend, life itself will cut those ropes for you, even if you don't have the strength to do it yourself. It's important to see the blessing in the separation, even when it stings. Every ending clears space for something better, a new ally, a supportive community, or simply the peace you couldn't feel while tethered to unhealthy energy. What looks like rejection is often divine redirection. Those who fall away now are not meant to witness the fullness of your breakthrough. This doesn't mean you should hate or resent those who leave. Their role in your story may simply be complete. Instead of mourning what's gone, trust the timing. Pay attention to the relief you feel once the dust settles, the way your mind becomes clearer, your spirit lighter, and your days less burdened. That's how you know the separation was necessary. Chosen ones, unexpected separation is not punishment, it's preparation. It means you're being shifted into alignment with people who will celebrate your growth instead of compete with it, encourage your vision instead of question it. Tonight may be the night you realize that losing them wasn't the end. It was the very beginning of you stepping fully into your destined path. One of the clearest signs that your life is about to flip is an unstoppable wave of creativity rushing through you. For chosen ones, this energy often appears at the most unexpected times, late at night, during a quiet moment, or even while doing something ordinary like cooking or driving. Suddenly, your mind starts racing with ideas, projects you want to begin, words you feel compelled to write, or visions of a future that seems to be calling you. It feels almost supernatural, as if inspiration itself has chosen you as its messenger. This surge isn't random, it's the direct result of alignment. When old blockages are removed, confusion, toxic ties, or self-doubt, your spirit finally has room to breathe. That freedom manifests as creativity. You may find yourself sketching out plans for a business, writing pages of thoughts you didn't know you had, or imagining new ways to use your gifts. The flow feels effortless, like a river that had been dammed for too long and now rushes forward with force. The key is to recognize this as a divine signal, not just a passing mood. Creativity is one of the universe's languages, a way of telling you that you're being guided towards something greater. If you ignore it, the energy can turn into restlessness or frustration. But if you honor it, by writing things down, starting small projects, or simply allowing yourself to dream, you'll notice that the ideas keep multiplying. Many chosen ones also notice that this creative wave often comes after a period of emptiness. Perhaps you've felt drained for weeks, unmotivated, or even hopeless. Then out of nowhere, the spark returns, and it's stronger than before. That contrast is important. It means your spirit has completed a cycle of shedding the old and is now ready to build the new. The timing is never accidental. It aligns with the moment your destiny is ready to unfold. This surge of creativity isn't just about art or writing. It can appear in every part of your life. Maybe you suddenly see a solution to a long-standing problem. Maybe you feel inspired to rearrange your living space, transforming it into something that reflects your new self. Or maybe your conversations start to carry a new depth as you express ideas that touch others and spark change in them too. Don't underestimate these moments. Write the ideas down, even if they feel too big or too impossible. Often, the visions that scare you most are the ones that carry the greatest purpose. And remember, creativity doesn't ask if you're ready, it flows when the time is right. Chosen ones, if you're feeling this surge tonight, it's not coincidence. It's confirmation. You're being prepared to create something that will not only transform your life, but ripple outward, touching lives you haven't even met yet. For chosen ones, guidance doesn't always arrive in plain sight. Sometimes it comes in the quiet of the night, through dreams and visions that feel too vivid to dismiss. These experiences may seem mysterious, even unsettling, but they often carry clear direction for the path ahead. While the world sleeps, your spirit is awake, receiving information that your conscious mind is not yet ready to process. Many notice that these dreams feel different from ordinary ones. Instead of random fragments, they carry strong symbolism: doors opening, staircases, oceans, fire, or light. Each element has meaning, a code pointing to transformation. For example, dreaming of climbing may represent elevation in your life, while water often reflects the cleansing of emotions. These symbols don't come by chance. They are placed before you as spiritual road signs. At times, the dreams repeat. You may see the same image, number, or scenario over and over again. This repetition is a divine emphasis. Pay attention, because you're being told something important. For some, it's an encounter with a guide, ancestor, or loved one who speaks a word of comfort or direction. For others, it's a flash of the future, showing what lies ahead if they remain faithful to their calling. Visions can happen outside of sleep too. You might be daydreaming, and suddenly a clear mental image strikes you. Or you could be in prayer, meditation, or simply sitting quietly when a picture forms in your mind that feels more real than imagination. These moments are not to be brushed aside. They are direct downloads from a higher source. The challenge is not just in receiving these dreams and visions, but in discerning them. Not every dream is spiritual. Some are the brain's way of sorting daily stress. But when a dream lingers, when it refuses to fade from your memory, when it stirs something deep in your spirit, that's when you know it carries weight. Keeping a journal by your bed and writing down every detail upon waking can reveal patterns over time. These revelations often arrive at crossroads when you feel stuck or unsure. That's not an accident. They are designed to move you forward when logic fails. They remind you that you are not walking blindly, there is a plan, and you are being shown glimpses of it to keep you aligned. Chosen ones, don't underestimate these nighttime messages. Tonight may bring the dream that confirms your next step, or the vision that shifts your perspective entirely. When it comes, treat it as the sacred map it is. What your spirit sees before your eyes ever do is the clearest sign that your breakthrough is closer than you think. Every chosen one eventually faces betrayal. It might come from the person you trusted most, or from those you never thought would turn against you. At first, betrayal feels like a knife to the heart, unexpected, sharp, and devastating. But hidden inside that wound is something powerful, the seed of your greatest breakthrough. Why? Because betrayal exposes truth. It reveals who was never truly with you, no matter how convincing their words or smiles may have been. It shakes you free from illusions you may have clung to for too long. And though the pain is real, the freedom it brings is even greater. Suddenly, you're no longer tied to false loyalty. The mask falls, and you see people exactly as they are. That clarity, painful as it is, opens space for destiny to move. History shows us this pattern clearly. Think of Joseph in the ancient story, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and yet that very betrayal positioned him for power he never could have reached otherwise. In the same way, what others mean for harm often becomes the exact tool used to elevate you. Betrayals also sharpen your intuition. Once you've experienced deception, you develop a stronger sense of discernment. You start noticing subtle cues, the little inconsistencies in people's words and actions. This doesn't make you bitter, it makes you wise. And wisdom is one of the most valuable gifts you can carry into your next chapter. Here's the twist: betrayal often comes just before a breakthrough. That's not coincidence, it's spiritual timing. As you approach elevation, resistance intensifies. Those not meant to stand beside you will either reveal themselves or be removed. Their betrayal may sting, but it also confirms that you're crossing into new territory. If everyone could come with you, it wouldn't be destiny, it would just be comfort. What feels like a loss is often protection. The friend who gossiped about you, the colleague who tried to sabotage you, the loved one who abandoned you, they may believe they ended something in your life. But in truth, they cleared the path for your rise. Their absence removes noise, distraction, and hidden opposition, giving you room to focus on what really matters. Chosen one's betrayal doesn't destroy you, it forges you. It turns wounds into wisdom and rejection into redirection. The pain you feel is temporary, but the strength you gain lasts forever. Tonight, if you're facing betrayal, see it for what it is, the doorway to your breakthrough. What broke your heart may be the very thing that sets your spirit free. For many chosen ones, the journey is marked by unusual financial patterns, moments when money seems to slip through your fingers, followed by sudden and unexpected blessings. These shifts can feel confusing, but they are rarely random. They're signs that your relationship with resources is being realigned to match the life you're stepping into. Sometimes the shift looks like loss. A job may end, a business deal might collapse, or an expected payment could be delayed. At first, panic sets in. Why now? Why me? But often, those financial interruptions are divine interventions. They close doors to paths that would have drained you or tied you to situations that were beneath your calling. What looks like lack is sometimes protection from settling for less than you deserve. Then just as suddenly, opportunities begin to appear. A refund you weren't expecting arrives. A stranger extends generosity. A skill you nearly dismissed becomes the very tool that opens new income streams. These are not coincidences, they're confirmations. The universe responds to your readiness, and when you shift internally, the external world begins to shift in your favor. Another key sign is that others may suddenly recognize your value. Someone might recommend you, offer collaboration, or introduce you to circles that bring financial growth. These doors often open without force, meaning you didn't chase them, they simply found you. That's the power of alignment. When you're walking in your purpose, resources flow toward you instead of away from you. But here's the important truth: not every opportunity is meant for you. Sometimes financial blessings are actually distractions. This is where discernment matters. Ask yourself, does this opportunity pull me closer to my purpose, or does it tempt me into comfort at the cost of growth? Chosen ones are tested in this area because your destiny requires not just abundance, but the wisdom to manage it. Think of financial shifts as a reset. Like soil being tilled before a new harvest, your old ways of handling money may be uprooted so something better can grow. These transitions may be uncomfortable, but they prepare you for the stability and overflow that's coming. Chosen ones, tonight may mark the beginning of this realignment. If you've been in lack, don't despair. It may mean your breakthrough is closer than you think. If you're suddenly seeing doors open, step forward with courage, but also with wisdom. Financial shifts are not just about survival. They are proof that you are being prepared to steward abundance with purpose. Few things frustrate the chosen ones more than delay. You pray, plan, and prepare, only to find doors closing, opportunities slipping away, or timelines stretching longer than you imagined. In the moment, it feels unfair, like your effort was wasted or your prayers went unheard. But what if every delay you've experienced was never a denial, but a redirection towards something far greater? Divine timing is not human timing. What looks like a setback on earth often means protection in the spiritual realm. Maybe that job you didn't get would have kept you stuck in mediocrity. Maybe the relationship that stalled would have distracted you from your calling. Maybe the door you thought was perfect hid dangers you couldn't see yet. The delay was never punishment. It was God saying, "Not this way, not yet, trust me." Think of it like being on a road trip with a GPS. You may plan a straight route, but suddenly the GPS reroutes because of an unseen accident or blocked road ahead. You could fight against it, insisting on your way, but the detour may be the very thing that saves you time, energy, and heartache. Delays work the same way. They're detours designed to place you exactly where you need to be when you need to be there. The key is patience, though patience doesn't mean passivity. Delays teach you to prepare. They create space for you to refine your character, strengthen your skills, and gain the wisdom that will allow you to handle the blessings waiting on the other side. Many breakthroughs collapse because they arrive too soon, before the person is ready to carry the weight. A divine delay ensures that when the blessing comes, you won't just receive it, you'll sustain it. One of the clearest signs of divine redirection is peace. Even in disappointment, a strange calm lingers in your spirit, whispering, "This wasn't the one." That peace is proof you're not being punished, you're being positioned. Another sign is that when the right door opens, it happens smoothly, without force. What once felt like endless struggle suddenly aligns effortlessly. Chosen ones don't fear delays. Tonight, if you're waiting longer than you expected, know this: your steps are still ordered, even if the pace feels slower. Trust that every pause is part of the design. What feels late to you is perfectly on time in the divine schedule. And when the redirection is revealed, you'll see why the delay was necessary all along. It wasn't holding you back, it was setting you up for a destination you never imagined. One of the most powerful signs that your life is aligning with destiny is the appearance of synchronicities, those uncanny patterns that seem too precise to be coincidence. For chosen ones, these moments act as mile markers, confirming that you're on the right path. They whisper, "Keep going, you're exactly where you're supposed to be." The most common form is numbers. You glance at the clock and it's 11, then later you notice 222 on a receipt or 777 on a license plate. To the untrained eye, it's random. But to the awakened spirit, these repeating numbers are a spiritual language, codes that remind you the universe is paying attention. Each sequence carries its own vibration: 111 for new beginnings, 444 for protection, 888 for abundance. They are not predictions, but affirmations that the unseen world is moving with you. Synchronicities go beyond numbers. Sometimes you think of someone, and within minutes they call or text. Other times you may hear a song lyric that answers a question you've been wrestling with, or a stranger speaks words that sound like they were meant specifically for you. These alignments aren't chance, they're evidence of orchestration, proof that your path is divinely woven. The beauty of synchronicities is that they appear when you need reassurance the most. Often, they arrive in seasons of doubt, when you're questioning whether you're making the right choices. Then, like a nudge from heaven, the pattern repeats, reminding you that you're not walking blindly, but in step with a higher design. Recognizing these signs requires awareness. If you dismiss them as coincidence, you miss their encouragement. But if you acknowledge them, they become guiding lights. Keeping a journal of synchronicities can reveal how often they appear, especially around significant decisions or turning points in your life. Over time, you'll see that they are not isolated events, but part of a larger dialogue between you and the divine. For chosen ones, synchronicities are more than comforting, they're empowering. They confirm that your energy is aligned, that your thoughts and actions are resonating with the frequency of your calling. They remind you that the universe is interactive, responding not just to what you do, but to who you are becoming. Tonight, you may notice these alignments more vividly. Pay attention. That repeated number, that familiar phrase, that perfectly timed encounter, it isn't random. It's a message. You are on the right path. Trust it. Synchronicities don't just prove alignment, they prove that you are not alone in your journey. Every step is being seen, guided, and celebrated by forces greater than you can imagine. Not all battles in a chosen one's life are visible. Some happen quietly in the spiritual realm, where jealousy, envy, or negative intentions are directed your way. These unseen attacks can manifest as sudden heaviness, anxiety, or even a string of unexpected setbacks. But here's the truth: if you're still standing, it's because you are protected. The very fact that you sense opposition is proof that your light is powerful enough to be noticed. Protection often comes in ways you don't recognize at first. Have you ever felt a sudden urge to stay home instead of going out, only to later realize you avoided trouble? Or maybe you took a different route one day, not knowing it saved you from harm. These aren't coincidences, they're interventions. Divine protection has a way of getting you away from danger, even when you can't see the full picture. Nighttime is another place where these attacks show up. Nightmares, sleep paralysis, or feelings of unease can leave you shaken. Yet even in those moments, there is a shield around you. Many chosen ones testify that in the middle of fear, they've called out to God or simply felt an unseen presence lifting the weight off them. That's spiritual defense in action. The attack may try to reach you, but it cannot touch what is divinely guarded. Another sign of protection is resilience. You may notice that what breaks others doesn't break you. Yes, it may slow you down, but somehow you bounce back stronger, wiser, and more determined. That's because attacks are designed to test your foundation. And every time you withstand them, your spiritual armor thickens. You learn to recognize the patterns, to spot the distractions, and to stand firm instead of collapsing. Protection doesn't mean life will be free of hardship. It means no weapon formed against you will prosper. What was sent to harm you ends up strengthening you. Even the unseen envy of others cannot stop your growth. If anything, it accelerates your journey because opposition confirms your significance. Nobody attacks what isn't valuable. Chosen ones, remember this, you're not fighting alone. Even when you can't see the battle, your spirit is covered. The sudden peace in the middle of chaos, the inner strength that rises when you're weak, the narrow escapes you can't explain, these are all signs of divine protection. Tonight, if you feel that invisible pressure, take heart. What surrounds you is far greater than what comes against you. You are guarded, guided, and upheld. No unseen force can stop what has already been written for your life. One of the heaviest weights a chosen one carries is not even their own. It's the unspoken burdens passed down through generations. Families hand down more than heirlooms or traditions. They also hand down cycles. Cycles of fear, poverty, broken relationships, silence, or shame. Many don't even realize they are living under patterns that began long before they were born. But chosen ones are different. They're called to break what others simply accepted. You may have noticed it already. Perhaps you're the first in your family to question certain toxic beliefs. Maybe you're the one who refuses to stay quiet about injustice, or who refuses to settle for a life of survival when you know abundance is possible. These aren't coincidences. They are signs that the generational cycle has reached its limit with you. The struggle you feel isn't weakness, it's the weight of history trying to resist change. Breaking these patterns isn't easy. It often looks like loneliness, because you're misunderstood by those who are still comfortable in the old way. It feels like pressure, because you're fighting battles on behalf of people who may never thank you for it. But every step you take toward healing, growth, and transformation isn't just for you. It shifts the future of everyone who comes after you. Think of it like a chain. Each link represents a repeated struggle across time. One ancestor carried fear, another carried silence, another carried poverty. Now here you are holding the chain in your hands. The pressure you feel is because you're the one chosen to break it. And when you do, you don't just set yourself free, you set generations free. This release often shows up through self-awareness. You may realize that certain reactions or habits aren't truly yours, they're inherited. For example, you may fear failure not because of your own experiences, but because you were raised in an environment where fear was constant. Recognizing that truth allows you to choose differently. Awareness breaks cycles. Another sign is that you're drawn to healing through prayer, therapy, journaling, or spiritual practices. This pull isn't selfish, it's sacred. It means you're rewriting a script that has been recycled for too long. The work is hard, but the reward is lasting. Future generations won't have to carry what you carried because you dared to confront it. Chosen ones, releasing generational burdens is one of the bravest battles you'll ever face. You may not always see immediate results, but the evidence will show in the lives of those who come after you. Tonight, if you feel that ancestral weight pressing on your spirit, know this: it's pressing because it's about to break. You are the turning point in your family's story, the one chosen to trade cycles of pain for legacies of freedom. Have you ever felt unsettled for no clear reason, as if your spirit won't let you sit still? That restlessness is not random, it's destiny tugging at you. For chosen ones, this restless energy often appears right before a major shift. It feels like your current environment has become too small for you, like shoes that no longer fit. What once felt comfortable now feels suffocating because your soul is outgrowing the space it's been in. This energy can show up physically. You may find it hard to sleep, your mind racing with possibilities, or perhaps you feel bored with routines that once satisfied you. Even the familiar conversations and activities you used to enjoy may suddenly feel empty. It's not that something is wrong, it's that you're being prepared for something new. The restlessness is the alarm clock of destiny, reminding you that it's time to move. Think of a bird in a cage. At first, the bird may accept its space, but as its wings strengthen, the cage feels smaller until the urge to fly becomes irresistible. That's what's happening within you. The cage may be a job, a location, a relationship, or even a mindset. The restless energy is your spirit saying, "You were never meant to stay here." Restlessness can feel uncomfortable, but it serves a purpose. It pushes you to take risks, to try things you might otherwise delay. Without it, many would stay stuck in comfort zones forever. For example, you may feel compelled to apply for opportunities you never considered, move to a new environment, or finally confront patterns that have held you back. This inner agitation is not a curse, it's fuel for transformation. It's important, however, to channel this energy wisely. Restlessness without direction can lead to impulsive choices. That's why, when you feel it, pause and ask, "Where is my spirit asking me to go? What change is necessary for me to grow?" Often, the answers are already stirring inside you. You just need the courage to act on them. Another key detail is timing. Restlessness often intensifies right before your breakthrough because you're being prepared to step into alignment. If you ignore it, life may force change upon you through circumstances. But if you listen and act, you'll find yourself moving into places you were always meant to reach. Chosen ones, if you feel restless tonight, don't mistake it for aimlessness. It's a holy disruption, a signal that you are being called higher. The energy may feel overwhelming now, but once you step into the new season waiting for you, that restless fire will settle into purpose. You're not lost, you're being moved. For the chosen ones, there comes a moment when you realize people are beginning to see you differently. Without announcing it, without demanding it, you start to carry a quiet authority that others can't ignore. This shift isn't about ego or control, it's about the recognition of growth, wisdom, and resilience that life has forged in you. Leadership finds you, even if you never went looking for it. One of the clearest signs is that people begin seeking your guidance. Strangers may confide in you, friends might turn to you for advice. Even those who once doubted you now listen when you speak. It's not about the volume of your voice, but the weight behind your words. Experience, trial, and spiritual clarity give your presence a gravity that draws respect. Opportunities also begin to reflect this shift. You may be offered chances to take on responsibilities you didn't ask for, or doors open that place you in positions of influence. At first, it can feel intimidating. You might think, "Why me?" But that's the very reason you've been chosen. Unlike those who chase power for selfish gain, your authority is rooted in service, not ego. True leadership is less about control and more about stewardship, caring for the people and opportunities entrusted to you. Another sign is the resistance you face. Leadership attracts both support and opposition. Some will celebrate your rise, while others will feel threatened by it. Their reactions are mirrors, revealing how visible your growth has become. Don't be discouraged if jealousy surfaces. It only confirms that you've stepped into a new level of influence. With new authority also comes a shift in energy. You'll notice that your presence alone can change a room. Where others bring tension, you bring calm. Where others bring confusion, you bring clarity. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. When you stand in your purpose, your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. Leadership also reshapes how you see yourself. You stop underestimating your value and begin to embrace responsibility with courage. You understand that your journey, the pain, the delays, the betrayals, was never wasted. Every struggle refined you for this moment. Authority doesn't arrive overnight. It is earned through endurance. Chosen ones, if you feel this shift tonight, embrace it. Don't shy away from the influence you carry. It's not arrogance to accept the mantle placed upon you, it's obedience. You were not chosen just to survive your journey, You were chosen to guide others through theirs. Your authority is not just a gift, it's a calling, and the world is waiting for you to step fully into it. Every chosen one reaches a turning point where life shifts so dramatically that nothing feels the same again. It's not a gradual change, it's sudden, unthinkable, and irreversible. Tonight may be that very moment for you. What once felt impossible suddenly becomes reality. The doors that were shut burst open. The patterns that held you down break. And in an instant, your life flips into a chapter you never imagined was waiting. This flip often arrives disguised as disruption. One day, everything feels familiar. The next, the ground beneath you moves. A job ends, but a greater opportunity emerges. A relationship dissolves, but peace you've never known floods your spirit. An unexpected event shakes your plans, but it forces you into alignment with your destiny. At first, it feels chaotic, yet it is actually divine order rearranging your life. The unthinkable flip is powerful because it dismantles your comfort zone. It strips away what you thought you needed and replaces it with what you were truly meant to carry. Think of it as a reset button pressed by the universe. Everything unnecessary falls away, and suddenly, you're standing in a space that matches who you've become, not who you used to be. What makes this moment unforgettable is that it changes your perspective permanently. You no longer see yourself as powerless or overlooked. You recognize your resilience, your worth, and the favor that has always surrounded you. The flip is not just external, it's internal. The chosen ones who once questioned themselves now walk with confidence. The ones who once doubted now know without a shadow of a doubt, I was made for this. Another sign of the flip is acceleration. Things that once crawled now move quickly. Opportunities align in ways that seem almost supernatural. It feels as if time itself bends to bring you into the season you were always meant to live. This isn't luck, it's divine timing catching up with your preparation. Yes, the unthinkable flip may leave others stunned. Some won't understand how your life changed so suddenly. They'll call it unfair or even impossible. But what they don't see is the years of quiet endurance, the hidden battles, the silent prayers that built the foundation for this very moment. Chosen ones, when your life flips, don't resist it, embrace it. You've been prepared for this shift, even if you didn't realize it. Tonight marks not an ending, but the beginning of a life where nothing will ever be the same. What once was unimaginable is now your reality, and it's only the start of where you're going next.